Yes, I'm Craig. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? If you've not been here before, now I'm just waffling and waffling. Hello and welcome back to the world of Craig. I'm Craig. This is my channel where I share all things hair. Lots and lots of free hair education, product reviews, and from time to time, a little bit of beauty. Now, it's the most beautiful early autumn, late summer, which one of those is it? I don't know. Day here in London. The trees are changing colour outside, but the sunlight is divine. Now, I thought that it was time to bring something slightly new to my channel. Oh yes, newness! Some top fast tips that you guys can take away with you and make into your own that can help you when you are doing hair. And this one, the first one, is all about peroxide. Now, as I mentioned in my very, very long intro, I'm going to give you guys some fast tips here on my channel. Some things that you can take away and hopefully will help you when you are doing hair. And the first one of those is about peroxide. Yes, a product that we use as colorists, hair colorists, day in, day out in the salon. We always have it around us. It's always available to us because it's the power, the energy for our hair color, our lightener, for any of our hair color products, for anything that has an oxidative reaction on the hair. Now, are you ready? Here's my top tip, or here's my nugget of information. And that is that 20 volume, or 6% if you work in percentages, will give you exactly the same amount of lift as 40 volume, which is 12% if you work in percentages. Shock horror? Well, for some people, it is quite shocking and it often takes people by surprise. But, as I've just stated, let's say it again, 20 volume will give you the same lift, the same level of lift as 40 volume. Now, let's get into why that is. Okay, so I've got my props here. These are both empty bottles of Well-Oxen Developer. And like I said earlier on, I've got a 6%, a 20 volume, and a 12%, a 40 volume. Now, these are empty. I pilfered them from the salon bin, and they could be any developer, they could be any peroxide. These are Weller because the salon that I work in, big up to 11, is a Weller salon. The main difference in peroxides, and the reason that manufacturers like you to use their developer, and I would advise that, is because there'll be different additives in different peroxides, different buffering agents, different conditioning agents that have an effect on how hair color or bleach lightener may work. But predominantly peroxides are peroxide. They all do the same thing. Peroxides pull oxygen from the air into the product that you're using to give it the energy to give you the lift. Okay, now, it could be any brand of peroxide, but what am I talking about when I gave you my top tip, my nugget of information? That is that 20 volume will give you the same amount of lift as 40 volume because it's still putting energy into the product. I'm going to put these down. I don't think I need to wave those about anymore. It's still putting energy into the product. It will take longer because 20 volume is less aggressive than 40 volume. If you think of it as like a reaction, like a chemical reaction, 20 volume is always going to be at quite an even rate. Yes, it will peter off as time goes on, but it's quite an even reaction on the hair. And I'm keeping this as simple and as in layman terms as possible so that everybody can have an understanding of what I'm talking about. Whereas 40 volume, the chemical reaction, the energy, if you like, that energy starts off very, very, very rapidly, very, very quickly, pulling that oxygen from the air to make the product work. Now, I'm relating this really to when you're mixing an oxidant, a developer, peroxide, with bleach. And the reason that this is, for me, is such an important bit of information is that I find a lot of hairdressers that DM me on Instagram, they're quite scared of doing global bleaching. They're unsure as to why over time with highlighting, foil highlighting, their client's hair might become a little bit damaged or a bit sensitive. And that's often because they are using stronger levels of developer. I'm a huge advocate of low and slow, which means to use a lower volume of developer, and I very, very rarely go above 20 volume. 6% is pretty much what I use on anyone's hair, unless they're a very light base and I'm global bleaching, and then I will probably use 10 volume. But I very, very rarely go above 20 volume. And that ensures the integrity of the client's hair. Now, as hairdressers, we are very visual human beings. I know that I am, and it may help some of you watching this to have a kind of visual analogy of the difference between 20 and 40 volume. So your 20 volume, think of the tortoise in the hair, the tortoise that gets to where it's going in the end, but it takes a bit of time. Makes sense? We're getting very Sesame Street right now. 40 volume is like a rocket or a bullet from a gun that comes really, really quickly, super quick, much quicker than that, super quick, and then peters out as it gets up into space. So it's fast and then slows down. Does that make sense? Puppet's going to pop up from here any minute now. No, it's really not. Now, I am by no means saying, I'm not dissing anybody that regularly uses 30 or 40 volume. It is your choice at the end of the day, and there is a place for those products. And if you use them regularly, that's completely fine. Obviously, you always want to take into account the canvas that you're working on and the integrity of the hair. It's also worth mentioning at this point that I am in control of my processing time. So I'm responsible for my booking of appointments, and I have the amount of time that I want to have. So you need to bear that in mind if you're going to switch to using 20 volume more often, because obviously it takes longer to lift. So you need to work that into your booking times. But at the end of the day, it's about confidence of the product that you're using, the knowledge of how to use it, and of course, as always, trusting the process. So much for a fast tip, eh? My goodness me, when it comes to hair, I love to talk. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, and you'd like to see more like this, please leave a comment down below. It's always great to get the comments from you guys. As always, make sure you're subscribed and you've hit the bell, because that means you'll see all that's coming here on my channel. It just leaves me to say a great big thank you again. I did say thank you. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.